right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. We are live once again, like Finnegan, broadcasting to you from the central kingdom of the celestial dragon, Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, Frater Francis Monday, self-appointed. Hit the likes for the YouTube Zalgabots, guys. Keep them barking like Pavlov's dog. Like and subscribe. Do it now. Check me out on buymeacoffee.com/, Frank Monday and pull something in the tip jar. As always, hit the link, join the show, and get a free tarot reading. We're just hanging out talking shop tonight. Welcome to the chat, Special K. Good to see you again. We're live again, like Finn again. How do I show this? Okay, there it is. It is showing on screen right now, Special K 21. Blessings, beloved. I hope you are doing well. Hope everything's good with you. So, in the news today, not a lot going on, right? A little bit more of the same, just like yesterday. Is there really anything new under the sun? I don't think there is. Somehow, there is not. There's some birds outside my window, all right? Woke up this morning, smiled with the rising sun. Three little birds by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing's gonna be alright. Don't worry. Yeah, I guess those are the best wise words I can give for you, Special K. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for stopping by to say hello. Make sure, I guess the best thing you could probably do for yourself is pick up a 5 pound box of Wishy Washy dish soap at your local five and dime. Wishy Washy, the best, soapiest, sudsiest soap in the business. Keeps balls and bowls squeaky clean. Make sure you check it out. Wishy Washy, 5 pound box, $4.99 at Thompson's Five and Dime. Pick up a box today. Pick up a box for yourself, a friend, a loved one, or a lover. Right? What's going on with you, Special K? Why are you in need of wise words? Has something happened, or is it just everything, life in general? I'm curious to know. Did you catch Chats with Jack this morning and see Kenny Gibbons' little presentation of himself making love to a naked, sweaty woman? I thought it was kind of nice. It wasn't really appropriate for him to do that there, but I thought it was nice. Like I'm a bit of a lover myself. I enjoy good sex, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it per se. I thought it was Kenny, if you're out there and you hear me, brother, I thought it was a little bit in bad form. Like if you're in a special relationship with a gal and you guys are bumping uglies, as it were. um I would think there could have been a more classy way to have presented it. I mean, you guys were just kind of laid out flat. They were laid out flat on the bed and getting at it. Just mind games in my own head. And into the woods I go to lose my mind and find my soul. Yeah, that's good. That's important. You should yeah, don't get in the mind games with yourself too much. Stay out of the mind. The mind has a tendency to ruin things. Um, I don't know. You don't want to necessarily be entirely in the feelers either, right? You want just some deep, calm, focused spiritual relaxation, right? Allow the mind to settle in the now. and don't push it. Don't allow it. Don't allow it. Don't push it. What is the word I'm looking for here? If appropriate, let it settle into the now and be calm. Be calm, connected with each reaffirming life breath. Inhale, relax, exhale, feel connected to your holy guardian angel in whatever way that is appropriate for you. It says I can add guests to the show. If you are out there in Happy Land and you would like to join the show, just let me know. I dropped the link. I guess I got the link here. Let me copy it. The address. Get back into my window. Cancel. It's kind of weird the way these things function now. Paste. Yeah, Dirty Low Life. Good to see you, man. You should hit the link. Let's have a conversation. I would like to get your feedback and analysis of Chats with Jack today. I've had a bit of fun falling out with Jack because if you may have noticed, I don't know, it seems to me that he focuses on a bit of the negative in life and has a tendency to soapbox a little bit too much. And I don't know that he has that high level of a spiritual achievement. He can be so grandiose and holier than thou, a soapbox built on a basically a life of failure for the most part. And I agree with the yeah, Lev Kung Fu, good to see you, man. You could see that it's StreamYard now. But I go a little longer. Still a lot of negativity coming off him sometimes, and I don't feel like that love guru image. And he kind of seems like an angry dude, an angry, disenchanted dude recently. Maybe I'm misreading that. That's why I would like to get your feedback, Dirty Low Life, because you seem to have a pretty good handle on old Mr. Talcott. I know what he's up to. And you've been watching him for a little while now. Not as long as me. I've been watching him for over 2 years now. And from what I can tell, you just showed up a couple of months ago. Just got a little work to do. Yeah, I don't know if that's what it is, though, man. I would like to think that. But going backstage and knowing some of the behind the scenes things and then seeing like the way people react and behave on other panels, but I think there's a hidden agenda and ulterior motives. I really do. I wanted to believe in the beginning. Like at first, I didn't. I thought he was, just I thought it was just this whole mess of shit. Wasn't ever going to amount to anything. Then I kind of shifted my opinion and said, hey, give love a chance, and invested some real time and energy into listening. But the longer I listen, the more I see it, the more I am aware that, and like interacting with him and so on, the more I'm becoming aware that he's kind of a bit of a treacherous bastard, to be honest. And there's a real easy way to run things, I think, that would allow for a peaceful, benevolent interaction with a lot of those folks and showing them more love and compassion because he talks about compassion and kindness and shit. But then I don't ever really see that. Like I see a lot of the soapboxing and a lot of the holier than thou and a lot of the guru dicks, but I don't see the actual fruits of the spirit very often. Sometimes, I'm not saying it's never, but sometimes. Yeah, I mean, I would like to say more, but I really don't know if I should care that much about it because he doesn't give a fuck about anyone. Like, in all honesty, like you can either be there or not be there. He's not going to build a relationship or loyalty to people. Like, I tried really hard to make a deeper connection with him, and he basically just told me, "I don't give a fuck. You can come or you can go. There's the door." I was like, "Really? Wow." It's like, because I do care. Thought that we were building a friendship and a relationship, but he don't give a fuck, man. Tough love, I guess they call it. But it seems like an inhuman approach. So is there even a soul there? I'm starting to wonder. I'm truly starting to wonder if it's entirely just optics. And I wouldn't say it's the grift because he's not really that big of a grifter. Little bit of grifter, but not that big of a grifter. But it's something else. There's some ulterior motive, maybe a deep-seated hidden evil is compelling him just toward distracting people. Yeah, it took. Oh, I wanted to give the full money to it, right? Jeeps says it took you long enough, eh? Go. Um. Yeah, I don't know. I was suspicious the whole time. I guess a little bit suspicious of it. But being told that, like after showing loyalty and promoting the channel in my own way a lot, pretty heavily, like talked about it a lot, told people to go there and visit every day and shit in every stream that I was doing, and then to get like zero return on investment, like as far as friendship goes, because that's what I was interested in. I was interested in friendship and some genuine camaraderie. But yeah, he said, basically that's not what he offers. That's what he's interested in. Okay, he went over to hang out with OTW, huh? That's cool. It is what it is, and whatever. I'm not gonna worry about it at all, right? Just move on and realize that there are certain people you can build relationships with and you know, have some loyalty and interest and camaraderie. But he doesn't seem to be one of them. I guess he's already got a tight knit group of friends, right? Like OTW, Ollie Boy, the Powder Dusty, Snafu, Illumitami. I guess he doesn't need any more friends. This clip is hilarious. You should play it. What clip? What are you talking about, Jeeps? You would have to panel up and share the clip with me. Mr. Pie. Who's Mr. Pie? What's happening, Mr. Pie? Is that fucking real?
Frank Monday.
Is that is that legit, man? Is that you? Where did you get that wig, Mr. Pie? Is that your hair, man? You froze up, brother. Or maybe I froze up. I don't know. You still there? Hello, 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 hello. That was a trip. Mr. Pie. Mr. Pie, I lost you, man. Why are you not? Your video stopped. And yeah, I feel like I lost you. Damn, you got more hair than me, bro. Um, well, that was a bit of a treat, huh? Hadn't seen Mr. Pie in a long time. What clip are you talking about, Jeeps? I have no idea what you're talking about, man. Okay, this clip. How do I do that? How do I even copy this thing and play? I can't do that, man. I don't know how to fucking use any of this shit. I'm just have to check it out later. I wouldn't even know how to play it. Would I copy that and then put it in my browser? Then it doesn't work for me, man. I don't have a paid account on StreamYard. This is me dealing with the minimum toolkit. Mr. Pi, if you're willing to come back, man, try again. Because your connection, something happened with it, bro. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I'm a little bit sad about it because I thought I had built up some street credit with Jack. And it turns out he's no, there's no way to build any street credit with him. Like he's already got, like I said, he's already got his established circle of Andres or whatever, and he's not really interested in taking on. Okay, Mr. Pie's back. There he is. Mr. Pie, how are you? Did
Sorry,
you
dude.
grow all did you grow all that hair since the last time I saw you, man? Is that real?
Is anything real, bro?
Yeah, a lot of things are, man. I don't know if that
No,
fucking all that.
no. Honestly, it's not. I'm just kind of doing it for. You want to see my red hair? I'll show you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was cool.
But isn't that
Going
kind
on,
of cool?
man?
Isn't that
Yeah, it
kind of
was. It's fun.
like super, super sexy surfer dude? What's up,
Yeah,
bro?
yeah. Yeah, I had hair like that when I was in my 20s.
I had
Cut it
that.
all off.
You know, when I was like, when I was doing the growing thing in California, I like grew up my hair for a while. So I kind of missed it, but it was a
Yeah,
long.
I don't.
It was like a
Don't,
long.
man. My
Yeah,
my
no.
braid my braid reached my tailbone. I would braid my hair and I got it all the way to my fucking tailbone. So it was pretty long. But it was a daily thing, like washing and braiding it. Fuck me, man. It gave me pretty strong forearms though. Took
So,
me about 30 minutes to get it all done.
so real quick, my friend, I kind of missed
Mm.
every. I mean, I missed everything today or the last couple of days. So, what's going
Yeah,
on?
you've been out of the scene for a while, man. Now I was just kind of talking about Jack. We had a bit of a falling out. I kind of felt like they did me dirty on his show about a week ago or so. And they kind of hurt my feelings. And I tried to
Well,
talk to yeah, I tried to talk to him backstage about it a little bit, and he just basically told me to fuck off. So
well, you know the thing with Jack is that he's kind of the arbiter of every truth. So, like, you know, to me, in my mind, like, you've always been very like understanding and open-minded, and very like your. To me, your knowledge in the esoteric field and stuff. It's like I wanted to reach out to you. I've been so busy with just kind of like real life, and
yeah,
I've been
yeah, me
learning.
too.
I've been like doing electrician shit,
Okay,
and so I'm like 15 months in. I'm an electrician apprentice, and I mean I love it. I'm working my ass off. It's hard. I kind of had to start
nice.
over. But dude, you know, I like everything in life. I lost my business out in California. Like everyone kind of followed me. I had 5 years in the cannabis business, and we just got our ass kicked. It was my dream job. I was in 28 years, and I wasn't making that much money, but I was doing what I loved. And but me and my best friend were fighting all the time. It was about money and just, and then divine intervention happened. We sold the property, and I found out a month when I moved back home to my family with my tail tucked in between my legs, like as a failure in my mind. That my sister had cancer, and I'm living with her, and I still live with her, and my whole family lives here. And I'm just like, if I wouldn't have wanted to, I wouldn't have kept persevering because I didn't want to give up on my dream, right?
Yeah,
But God, to me, God intervened and said, no. And then right when that happened, my sister got cancer, and I live with her. Her manager that I worked, like she worked with, her dad owns this company as an electrician thing, and then got me a job. And like now here I am. I've lost a lot of weight. I'm like in the best shape of my life, and I think I was like on a really bad path. Left to my
all
own,
right.
left to my own devices in California, I probably just would have been So it's crazy how life works like that, you know.
Yeah, your audio's popping in and out a little bit. I'm not sure if it's the microphone or what.
Oh, I don't know, bro.
I could hear you 50% of the time, but I'm keeping up. Uh,
Well, let me try back again.
no, no, you're good. You're good now. Out of California now.
No, what I was saying was it was like divine intervention. As I left California, I lost my business, and I was devastated, right? But then I came home, and my sister had cancer. Like the month that I came home, I found out my sister had cancer, and I moved in with her. And then her boss got me a job with her dad thing as an electrician. So it's like it's just crazy how divine intervention works. Is what I was saying. It's like you couldn't have pulled me away from the business I was doing until I had to do it, and then here I am. And I think everything works out for a reason. So, did you hear all that?
Yeah, yeah, I heard you. Yeah, I agree with you that yeah, sometimes things do work out to the best, even though it may not be exactly what we want at the time. Special K, I think, was asking for the link. Do you know Special K?
Yeah,
Okay, so I reposted the link for her if
I
she
haven't.
joins. I'm not sure.
I haven't seen her in a while. She used to be on Paul's a long time ago.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah, good. Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear that you're doing well, man, and I'm glad you're doing a vocation that you feel is you're suited towards, right?
But yeah, I mean, I always want to be learning and stuff, you know. But it's like at the end of the day, when you ask yourself, like, what would happen if you won, you know, the lottery or $500 million? Like, what would you still be doing? Because my friend has a lot of money, and he's not happy, right? And there's several people that I know that have multi millions of dollars, and they're just not happy. And I wonder, like, what do you like? What they're chasing something, or they're chasing joy. And I always think that if I, what would I do if I hit the lottery? Like, would I keep working? Or like, there's several things I would keep doing. I would keep meditating. I would keep going to the gym, but I would want to travel, and I would want to give like service to life, like to all my friends and family. So I'd want to retire everyone that I love and say, don't worry about, because people just worry about stuff, and I just want to like stop worrying.
Yeah. Uh, like I've gotten to a point in my life where I'm pretty doing well, pretty well financially, and secured a lot of things. Even I'm putting two children through college right now, and I don't know, I think I kind of figured it out early on in life. Just always do your own thing. Like I've always done my kung fu, studied the esoteric, and just keep doing that. Now I'm doing art again. And I think if I, had millions and millions of dollars, I'd still kind of just do what I'm doing now. Maybe
Yeah.
I think the only thing I'd do differently is I'd probably quit working for the most part, like a regular job, and go back to the US and develop my property. I have some property in Tennessee, and I would like develop it into a kind of nice little resort home. Like I got 10 acres. So
Yeah.
I would build a nice dwelling, and there's like a freshwater spring there and stuff. So I would have access to water, and I would just build it up, make like a nice little environment to live in, and then just use that as a base to maybe teach kung fu and stuff and do some spiritual retreats. I think that's what I would do if I
Well,
hit it
dude,
big, as it were.
well, I was listening to a new thing with and I listened to his shit like 6 7 years ago. All this, uh, you know, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and it was just, I heard a new podcast he was on today, and it was kind of like a reminder. And it it was about being like close to source, And like I know the closest that I ever got to source was when I did ayahuasca. But even before that, or after that, I had like a sleep paralysis incident where my like I had this dream where my dad was dying, and it happened like 5 times in a row. And then I woke up, and it's like it was right before COVID, and I went sober, and it was weird, bro. I just had people calling me from all over the world, like randomly. Like I felt like I don't know. It was just I felt connected. Like there was no other way to describe it. That it was kind of a surreal experience, and I haven't been able to get like I guess there's an alert. Anyways, I I've never been able to like get back to that feeling again. But for about 6 months, man, I was like when I was going to bed, I was listening to like the hertz, the frequencies, like 528, 432. Um, and I was like halfway in between like alpha and theta, like when I was sleeping, and I could almost. It was insane. Like I just was like I could see the blue lights right before I was going to sleep, and I was like in between sleep, and I guess I was just manifesting some crazy shit. But I haven't been able to do that again, um, in like 4 years, and then I got back onto alcohol and drinking, and I just haven't felt tapped into source like like I should be. If,
Yeah,
I mean, does that
that's
make sense to you?
yeah, it does, absolutely. That's kind of the thing I think with spiritual cultivation is sometimes you'll get a big breakthrough and you'll have a lot of progress rapidly, and that
Yeah,
kind of shows you the light and the pathway forward, but then it retracts again and you'll go another long period of the doldrums. And the doldrums is kind of the part you have to work through because it sets the foundation for like the moving forward. And I know it can be challenging, especially if it's an extended period of time. Like you said, it's been 4 years now.
yeah,
Um, I would suggest a simple read if you're interested at all into reading more about it. Maybe you've already read
yeah.
it, but Robert Bruce's Astral Dynamics. Have you read that
Okay.
one?
Let me no, let me write it down because my problem is I don't read enough. Um, I mean, I read the internet, which just like, quit scrolling, and I
I'm the same, dude. I don't hardly read any books anymore.
and I have books, and my cousin reads like 2 books a week. Like my cousin's like he's dynamic with his knowledge and like his rhetoric and stuff, and we're both on the same page with a lot of the esoteric like or just, I don't know, just all of the conspiracy theory shit that's actually kind of true. It's not conspiracy. You could
Conspiracy
call it like
facts.
yeah, it's called like speculatory. Like someone described it better, but all I know is like lately, the new Anthony Fauci stuff. It brought up a whole lot of like bad memories on
Right.
how pissed off I was during COVID because I never took a COVID test, not one
No.
PCR test. I didn't do the mask. I didn't take the vaccine, and I was
You never got
so
sick.
dude. I got like I had a really big social media thing, and I got squashed. I got taken off social media for misinformation, and I was
Charlie.
dude, I was so mad because all I wanted to do was help the world. And then my mom took 2 vaccines, dude, and she got really sick.
Yeah, my mum's taken about 3, I think. She's been
My,
okay though. She's
my
not
mom,
sick.
well, she's okay now, but like
Yeah.
her second vax, like she literally had 104.5-degree fever. Her legs were having like shooting pains for like 6 months.
Oh yeah. My
Did-
mum's got serious problems with her
like,
legs.
and
as
so,
well.
and then I had people working for me that had cerebral palsy in their face.
Mm.
And then my other buddy, he got COVID, and then he took the vaccine afterwards, and then he got mega sick more than COVID. And I go,
Yeah.
did you guys like not take seventh grade biology? Like you know what a vaccine is, right? It's like
Yeah,
you,
yeah. Mr. Pie, if we could avoid it a little bit. I don't want to get TOS
Oh,
struck for this
yeah.
shit. Yeah.
Okay. I apologize.
Yeah, no big deal. But Fauci's in court right now, and we see the way it's
Is
playing
it?
out. They're not going to relent in any way on their subterfuge.
I
And
thought it.
yeah,
I
but
thought it was pretty much over and
Miss,
done with now, Frank. You know that
no, yeah,
whole
but I
COVID
don't want to.
bullshit.
I don't want to sweat it. Fuck it.
Mm.
Mr. Pie. There's the name of the book. I put it on the screen. Astrodynamics by Robert Bruce.
All
If you wanted to
right.
write it down.
I'm gonna write it down because
Yeah, yeah.
I
Screenshot.
honestly because
Screenshot.
I've been wanting to talk to you for a while, Frank. I just haven't been online because I mean, to me, you're one of the most interesting minds. Like, I'll say this about you. I resonate with you and your frequency because for some reason in my heart, I felt like I was meant to go to Tibet or something. My
Okay, yeah.
my whole body has always told me you need to go to Tibet and like to the like I don't know why. It just brings me to the mountains there.
Yeah.
I want to travel there more than anywhere else. I don't know if it's because in a past life, that was part of me or something, but I've been really drawn to like I listened to all the Ram Dass, on Watts, and that was all happening during my awakening when I was sober for 2 years, and then I got back to drinking again and stuff, and I know it's alcohol, it's like it's a spirit, it's like it's the
That's
demon.
spirits.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
spirit. Like it's called booze.
Yeah.
It's called spirits. Like it's because they take
Yeah.
over your mind and body.
Yeah.
And I
Totally.
really believe that. And when I was like coming back here, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I'm 45 years old. I lost my business. I have to start over again. I'm ashamed." But
Yeah.
that's kind of like the ego. But it was for a divine purpose. Like I'm here. I live with my sister and my niece. I'm like right next to my mom. And
Yeah.
I'm like, family's everything.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
I mean,
Mr.
I mean,
Pie,
Yeah, for a
you
reason.
Mr. Pie, you could just do a
For a
screenshot
reason.
if you want.
all right.
Just do a screen. Yeah, do a quick screenshot and you'll be able to get it. You can grab it. What's happening, Ricardo Sunshine? How have you been, man?
Yeah,
Long
it's
time
good
no
to
see.
talk. Good to talk to you again, Frank. It's been a while, but I'm back. I'm back with a vengeance on these
Yeah,
YouTube
are you?
streets. Yahoo!
Good. You got things planned? What have you been up to?
Just
What did it pull?
I've trying to build a healthy balance of everything, really. But I could do with the boost in the romance department because I'm not very good at, I'm not very confident with chatting people up, believe it or not. With all the experience I've had, no, I usually just let them come to me, and they often do. But then then I often get the bad ones. So maybe that's not the best tactic. I don't know. But yeah, life's been good, man. Just been chilling, exercising, eating well.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's good. That's good magic. Yeah, I like the romance
Looking
thing.
after myself.
I'm obviously I'm a married man, but I think that interaction of romantic push and pull in life, I think it's super important for people,
Yeah.
and maybe there'll be a stage in my life where I'm finally, moving more away from it, like 80, 90, 100 years old, this kind of thing, obviously. But I think as long as I'm full of vim and vigor and feeling like I'm 25, then I'm gonna somewhat act like I'm 25, right?
Absolutely. Never lose touch with your
Yes.
childhood side. So
Yeah,
many
I agree
people
with
do.
that.
It's a shame.
Yeah, so I would say
No.
keep in touch with that and stay open to it.
Yeah.
And like I was talking with Mr. Pie a moment ago about the doldrums. We're in the dog days of
Mhm.
summer right now, and they call them also the doldrums. I'm sure you're familiar.
Yes. Yes. The doom and gloom mentality. It's not something I really get much anymore.
Well, yeah, the doldrums is when the trade winds die down and the boats can't move across the ocean. So there's just going to be
Oh.
Right. There's going to
Right.
be the dog days of summer. It's really hot. Everyone should just chill
Mhm.
more. And so there'll be less positive growth and activity. Like I was saying with your romantic situation, maybe you're experiencing
Yeah.
some doldrums in that, right? As
Oh
well.
yes, definitely, definitely. I'm having a dry spell, and I have for the past
Right.
year or so.
I mean, I've had a dry spell, but
Mhm.
I don't really care about that so much. It's like
I'm not bothered.
I've been working on me, right? So
Yeah.
like I've been doing this electrician thing for 15 months now, and I'm like learning so much. But everything in my heart's always been like magnetism, like magnetics. Like there's more to it. And so I'm wondering if my job is getting me closer to, figuring out that or what it like in some way. I don't know.
Yeah, I
But
think that's important, Mr. Pi, that like during those times that you do refocus on just strengthening yourself and then getting ready for the next big thing.
bro, I've never worked this hard in my life. Well, no, I mean I have actually, but like I'm working out in the fucking heat, like 104, 112 index, and I'm digging ditches and stuff. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, for $22 an hour. But it makes me realize like what the body's capable of, and I'm still happy and healthy, and
Yeah,
I'm like outworking like 22-year-olds. It's like
that's
they're
cool.
put, they're pussing out on stuff, and it's like, hey, dude, it's like I just it's got me in a really good pattern. When I wake up at the same time every day, I eat the same thing. I eat really healthy, and I'm in the best shape that I've been. I'm in the best shape I've been in 5 years, 6 years, or something. So
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's
good.
really good. Yeah,
Good.
absolutely.
I
I'd like
turned.
to hear a little more too about like the specifics of your job. You said you're digging ditches. Are you using like a Caterpillar or a backhoe or I'd like to know a little bit about it.
Well, we've been using like a trencher, like a ditch witch, or
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
or shovels. But I mean, we're basically like connecting all the circuits for like light poles. So I've been working on a soccer field like for the FIFA thing. So we had to make the FIFA thing work before. I don't know, it was like a couple months ago. So we had to get this shit done and to have a blue like ribbon event or whatever. So like the big light poles in the parking lot and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I know a little bit about it. I grew up in construction. That's why I wanted to hear a little more. I never really did much electrical work, but I did some plumbing, roofing, drywall,
Yeah,
foundations, concrete, bricklaying, lots of different things. As a
yeah,
kid, kind of fun.
yeah. No, I mean I honestly love to see how everything is put together. Like I love the architect, like the art. I don't know how we as humans like figure this shit out, but it's pretty fucking amazing to see how it's
Yeah,
all put together.
absolutely. Architecture is legit too, especially the design end of things, like the guys who do the blueprints and stuff or schematics, whatever they're called. Yeah, blueprints. Drafting, that's gnarly work, man. That's the and the guys who actually get it done, the laborers, the masons, carpenters, electricians, it's a beautiful thing. I love the industry and building more and housing people. That's one of the fundamental things we do in this world.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna step away for a half a second.
Okay, yeah, do your thing. What
Bye,
about you,
Mr.
Ricardo?
Pike.
You have any experience in construction at all?
I don't actually. No, I've never been tempted or enticed to go into it, but I have. I wouldn't mind trying it. You're never too old. Um, so I'd like to try it. Yeah, but I don't know. It might
Yeah,
be
I
too
just
much.
the only Yeah, the only reason I had some experience is because my brother, one of my older brothers, I've got a couple, but he ran a construction company, and so I during the summer I'd stay with him oftentimes, like summer vacation, and
Yeah,
he would just put me to work. He'd put me on all kinds of jobs. I as a young
that's
man,
good.
like from like 12 to 20, I got to work in every field of construction. It was kind
Mhm.
of a great thing.
That's good. Must have built up your stamina and strength and general resilience, I suppose.
Yeah, and like knowledge of those things and a respect for the labor class because
Yeah.
I definitely, I wasn't really a part of the labor class. Like that's what he did, but my dad was a Navy guy, and so actually I was allowed the opportunity just to pursue academics mostly. So it gave me a good balance, I think, between being more academically inclined because I'm a little bit weaker physically. But yeah, getting out there and doing it, and then yeah, it did. I think it did contribute to my well-being and my
That's good.
longevity probably as well.
You're not very tall, are you? You're like 5'7", 5'8".
No, I'm 5'10".
You're 5'10". Oh, that's not. Yeah, it's only 2 inches away from 6 feet. So
Yeah, yeah. And my dad was 6'2", and I have three older brothers. They're all 6 foot, so I was the
yeah,
shortest among everyone. Yeah, but I'm not a shrimp. I remember, if I
true.
recall correctly, you're taller, right? You're six
I'm like
plus.
6'1", 6'2". Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So you're the same size as my brother, same height.
yeah, yeah. Some
Yeah, I'm
people
not a
are.
little,
Some
I'm not
people
a
are.
little
Some
dude,
people.
but I
No, no.
I do look
I know. I know
a
you.
little.
I know you can. I know you can kick ass, dude. I know you do
Well,
kung fu. I've seen you
yeah, well,
go. Yes.
I'm a slim build though, and I am smaller. So yeah, I am a little smaller.
It's all right. You're agile. You're still agile though, aren't you? For your age,
Yeah, yeah,
you can,
yeah. Still
you can
doing all
still
right.
move.
Yeah, what were you gonna say a moment ago though? You had started a thread, something I think you wanted to express.
I can't remember now. I was saying on Jack's the other day that my last word was I didn't know I was going to go into a sort of anti-drug rant or whatever, but no, I just said that basically someone was talking about alcohol towards the end and how most sensible, intelligent people can agree that alcohol, excessive and extended use of alcohol is not a good idea. It's not healthy for the mind or the body. So, and I just said, yeah, well, alcohol's like, basically kills brain cells, whereas cannabis is like can help. I believe can help regrow new brain cells, like neuroplasticity and stuff like that. It's not
Yeah,
just the cannabis though. You have to use your brain. You have to like do things, and you know. But I believe I'm doing it. So
yeah,
I play I
yeah.
play a lot of
No, I would agree.
quiz games as well. So that kind of that's good for my brain. So I'm like
What kind of games?
quiz games, general
Oh,
knowledge.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's fun. Yeah,
and
no, I would
so
agree with you, and I think the science supports it as well. That yeah, alcohol is not the best choice. Cannabis is the far superior choice. I would agree. Nerdy
yes,
Lowlife says his question is how to stop chasing romance and allow it to arrive on its own without grasping. I find this hard to let go of. I don't know, from my perspective, I would just say that's kind of always the way I've done it. Like I don't necessarily chase it. And like you were saying a moment ago, Ricardo, you don't necessarily chase it either,
no,
but I do posture and position for it. And I, even though I am a married man with, children and stuff, I still do find great invigorating interest in interacting with, my preferred demographic of
yeah, yeah, yeah,
folks
yeah.
and
How do you
and
feel?
still
How do you
doing
feel
it.
about
Yeah.
flirting? Do you still flirt? Do you think flirting can be harmless or Is it
Oh, that's what
always
I. That's yeah. That no, that's what I meant. I think it's
cheating?
great. Like I run around and
Mm.
I compliment and get into those types of situations all the time in the job I do, and I think it's fun, especially if they're open to. I mean, only if they're open to it,
Of
obviously.
course, of course.
But yeah,
You'll know.
I'm
You'll know.
I'm
Within the
hugely
science.
flirtatious and very generous in my compliments. And if I can get in there and give a back rub and a little bum squeeze, then yeah, that's right up my alley. I I think life is for living, and you should fucking be alive and be engaged. There's and the Tao would agree. Like that's makes you alive and more pliant, and you're going to have more interest in living. If you give up on that and you become a dry up old stump, then you're ready for death. What is that? Don't do
You got
that.
to keep the you got to like keep the juices flowing, right?
Oh, absolutely. Keep cultivating them, drawing them upward. Right?
All
But yeah,
starts within.
you got to keep them flowing. Being an aesthetic or a renunciate and a celibate, I mean, there's a place for it if that's what you want to do, but it's not the way of Tao. It's the opposite of Tao.
It's not for me, no. I don't want to be
No, it's good.
celibate.
So anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm answering Dirty Lowlife's question,
Yeah,
and I would
yeah, yeah.
say it would also be the place you are too. Like Dirty Lowlife, if there isn't an abundance of folks that you feel interested in, move around a little bit. Like you don't have to stay
Mm.
stuck somewhere. Go to the city, enjoy some other activities. Um, I would say the best
Extend
suggestion.
extend your
Go ahead.
gene pool. Extend your gene
Yeah,
pool. Yeah.
yeah. That's why I was convinced to marry and have children. I had a really beloved friend, a colleague, and he's like, he said it would be a shame if your genetics was lost from the world. He's like, you got to get it done. And so I took the challenge because I wasn't going to do it. I figured I'd be a lifelong bachelor. Why do that thing? It's such a fucking burden.
You found a wife. You're married now, so you're happily married, right? So
Yeah, we got married. Yeah,
you're
since
good.
2001, 2001
Mm.
is when we met. But yeah, we got married
It's-
2003. So we dated for 2 years, and then
mm.
yeah, I've been at it for what, 25 years now.
That's it.
Oh.
Oh, that's it. Hey.
Yeah, it is. It's its thing. It's just something you got to get done. I figured, hey, if I get married and I raise children, then I'm not going to get divorced, no matter how what my personal interest is. Because there were times when I absolutely would have just threw in the towel and been like, this is just far too psychologically abusive. But you gotta
Yeah.
you gotta push through it. You gotta make it better. You gotta make yourself better, make other people try to help and do your thing. So yeah, it is what it is. I feel like it's an achievement somehow. So Dirty Low Life
Yeah.
says thank you for the insights. Oh, but I was gonna say, Dirty Low Life, I would say my greatest suggestion for a bachelor that might be interested in meeting people would be to take stuff like a social dancing class, like swing dance or ballroom dance. And then the
Mm.
other would be to take like music classes or art
Salsa.
classes. Yeah, salsa.
Mm. That's good.
Even if you're interested in those things, Dirty Low Life, if you find some interest in them and then you take those, like you will meet some of the most beautiful in the art, in the area of art. Like whether it's gals or guys, whoever you're interested in. I don't know what Dirty Low Life's preference is, but
Could be
yeah,
both.
art. Yeah, take a sketching class and hang out in an art class, whatever. Dance class.
Mm.
And it
Something
depends on if it's,
something artistic or creative in that kind of
I would
field.
say that because those are the things I'm interested in, but I would say
Well,
for like him,
he's a
he's a
musician,
musician.
so he's always got loads of guitars in his background and stuff. So I haven't heard his music yet, but obviously I'd like to.
Okay.
I'm a bit of a musician too,
Yeah,
as you
yeah,
probably
that's
know.
right. I believe you shared that with me. Yeah. Yeah, so Dirty Low Life, yeah, if if you're interested in gals and you're not scared of moving around a little bit, like there is no greater way than to immediately start rotating through dozens and dozens of them. But sometimes creepers go there and do it in a creepy way. I would say just go there if find some passion in the like Ricardo said, the salsa, or I would recommend swing or ballroom because those are my preference. But yeah, you're gonna be in classes with like 10 to 1 women to men all
Yeah,
the time for any of those dance classes,
yeah, that's
and
awesome.
all of
Or
them are
even
going to be
yoga,
looking
even
for
yoga, a
partners.
yoga class. You'll get. Sorry to
No, go ahead. Yeah, you're right.
cut in front of you, but yeah, yoga. I've been to yoga classes, and mostly the young, attractive single women.
Yep, absolutely.
The most.
And they're all
It's
interested in
great.
finding mates. I mean, they're not necessarily there for that, but
No, no, no.
that's what they're looking for ultimately
Yeah,
a lot of times.
it's a good demographic to work with.
Yeah, it makes it super easy. I learned that in college, man. Actually a buddy told me that.
Mm.
He's like, "Hey, just take some ballroom dancing classes, learn to dance." And
Yeah,
so the first one I went in, there were 25 girls, and there was only the teacher and me were the only male leads. And I was
right.
like, damn. Yeah, it was just crazy. Um, but this is it. I never have to worry again. Don't even got to think about it. It's a no-brainer. And I became a skilled lead, a decently skilled dancer. So gals like to dance with you when you're good. So
Yeah,
and then the other, like I was saying, music
yeah,
classes, and we've got a really nice community centers here in China. And when I go to those, there's always tons of folks hanging out. And now that I'm an older guy, I'm hanging out with older people, so it's a different scene, but still the same thing.
comedy shows as well. That might be a good place to meet a potential mate. You still
Yeah,
doing
especially.
stand-ups? You still doing your stand-up comedy, Frank?
No, I've been going and watching a little bit. I'm kind of easing my way back into it, and I'm thinking about
Cool.
putting together some sets again. I don't want to use old sets, so I'll have to write some new material.
Yeah. Well, if Joe Rogan, if the likes of Joe Rogan can do it, then I'm sure so could anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to watch the scene. Last time I did it, like when I first got into it, watched the scene for like 2 years before I even tried and wrote
Yeah,
material the whole time. Writing
yeah,
material is a huge part of it. Like,
sure,
yeah.
sure. Bill Burr's one of my favorite American comedians living. Do you know Bill
Okay.
Burr from Boston?
Um, yeah, I've watched a little bit of his stuff. I'm not super familiar.
He's a
I
really
find
smart guy as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
find it a
he's,
little bit intimidating to watch the like super big professional guys. And so
yeah,
I'll mostly just watch the locals in the area and see what they're doing. But yeah, I've
no,
I've
but
enjoyed I
mm,
grew up on oh, I don't know, like Rodney Dangerfield,
yeah, yeah.
Bill Cosby,
Hmm.
Eddie Murphy,
Oh, he was great. He was great.
Richard Pryor,
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Monty Python, this kind of thing.
Monty
Yeah.
Python was fucking amazing.
Gallagher.
If you haven't watched, I tell you what, if you haven't watched Monty Python when you're tripping balls on acid or mushrooms or whatever, then you haven't lived.
I could believe that. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Also, listen to Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. That's one not to miss when you're tripping.
Yeah, Dirty Low Life likes Carlin and Hicks.
I like no
Bill,
George Carlin. George Carlin is the bet, like one of the best, and Bill Hicks
yeah,
was
George
fucking awesome
Carlin,
too.
Bill Hicks.
Yes, I love those guys. They
Yeah, I even
they open my eyes, made me see
yeah,
things in a different way.
even in the '80s, I liked a little bit of Andrew Dice Clay. He's a bit crass though. Yeah, he was a pretty
Sure.
dirty mouthed guy, but he was funny
Yeah.
to an extent. Hey, what you doing? You gonna suck my dick? That's fucking kind of crass, low level stuff, but still
Uh,
funny. Oh,
Yeah,
who's the guy who did the video? I'm an asshole.
Dennis Leary.
Dennis Leary.
He
Yeah,
was
he was
quite good for
funny.
a while, but he didn't last. I don't think he carried on with it for long. He was more of an actor, really.
Yeah, that style doesn't. I don't think that style has a long enough shelf life. I think you have to strive toward like better, more refined comedy with greater intelligence. If you sh-
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
shoot for the low hanging fruit, then it only has a very limited showtime for that.
sure. He was pretty. Yeah, to swear a lot. What was that? No Cure for Cancer. That I watched that
Yeah,
probably cut quite a few times over and over because it was so fucking funny. When I
yeah,
was like a teenager, and we loved it
yeah.
because
That was good stuff.
we used to watch
When
that
you're a
too.
kid,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, but again, it has a limited audience. It has a limited shelf life, which everything does, right? Everything's only going to appeal to a certain market category.
yeah. I'm an asshole, an asshole, an asshole, an asshole, an asshole. It's true.
Yeah, it was good
What
stuff. Good stuff for sure.
what's going
Yeah,
on
so
with
I'm be
Dennis Leary now? Then is he still alive, or what's
oh, I don't
did
know, man.
he
Who
get lung
knows?
cancer?
Yeah, that's like with again, that's I just don't pay attention to the celebrities anymore. I kind of grew out of that
No,
phase of my life.
yeah, I don't much.
No.
It's funny when all you hear about is like when they die, and it's like, oh, so and so,
Right.
you know, you hear the news, so and so's just died, blah 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 blah. It's like, oh shit, I didn't even know they were ill.
Yeah, it
But,
happens. We all even the best performers ultimately retire from the stage at some point. So
but then actually,
not a big deal.
it's kind of it can be a good thing because it remind like when Prince is it when Prince died not long ago. I was like, oh shit, yeah, I never really got into Prince's music that much, but I always liked him. So
Yeah.
yeah, I did get into it like a bit more.
Yeah, I
Um,
was looking into that recently too. According to statistics, like fame is one of the greatest destroyers of longevity. So when you become popular and famous, and even wealth can do it too, it's like
mm,
one of the key indicators that you've just taken about 15 to 20% of your longevity off doing that.
mm,
It's I think it, and I experienced it. I know about it. It has to do with like the anxiety and the popularity and the push and pull of emotions and fans and stuff like that. It's really exhausting and it kills most people. So
mm.
great great performers who would like to live a little longer, they'll retire from the stage and be done with it.
Sure, but then again, think about all the rock and rollers who like lived till they were like 80, and they probably should have died when they were 40, but they were lucky. Like people
But
like the
how
Rolling
many of them
Stones
are
guy, or
there?
no, maybe
Think,
not many, but not many
but think of
celebrities.
all the ones that are dead at 20 and 30 and barely make it into their 50s, you know?
Sure, sure that
It's
happens
a,
too. Yeah,
yeah, and it's not based on my own knowledge, it's based on studies that the greater percentage are yeah, that it kills the longevity. Hey, Jack with Chats with Jack is here. Jack Talcott stopped by. Good to see you, Jack. Hope you're doing well.
hey, big up,
Greetings and
Jack.
blessings to all gathered.
Blessings and salutations.
Indeed.
With love,
Salutations and blessings.
peace, love, and peace.
Greetings,
Peace and
Jack.
love.
How are you?
I'm feeling blessed. How are you, Frank? Are we good?
Yeah, yeah, I'm doing good. We're good as far as I know.
Good.
Good to
All
see
right.
you, Jack.
Thank you. You as well. Hey, I tuned in just recently, but when I looked up for the link, you were talking about oh, what was it? Astral Dynamics by Robert Bruce.
Yes, the book.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, that's right. Are you familiar with that one?
I had a conversation with that dude.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Do tell.
Um, growing up as a kid, my parents were into that sort of thing. And I thought I remembered that book being at my parents' home. And then I came across it again after my awakening when I was online looking for something. I came across something by that and ended up looking him up. And he charged like $100 or a few $100 for a conversation. And I had money at the time, so I thought, why not? I remember a pretty cool conversation with him. And he's one of the testimonies of dealing with demonic entities that I kind of trusted what he was saying.
Oh, so you actually did like a paid training session with him? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I purchased one of his programs, online programs, and I don't remember the details of it specifically, but then I remember I also I paid for a conversation with him. I've paid for
Okay.
conversations with a lot of people, actually.
Yeah, I've done that too. The biggest one I ever paid for was for Master Ni Huaqing of Yosan University. He's the chancellor of Yosan University in Santa Monica, California, of traditional Chinese medicine. And I studied his content all through my childhood, all through my teen years. And then when I got into college, I went to all his public retreats. And for him to do a life reading, it included a life reading, acupuncture treatment, and a consultation. I paid $700 for like the preliminary package, and it was an additional 500 for the acupuncture treatment, which included like 3 sessions. And so I ended up paying like $1,200. But then right after, I became his apprentice and lived with him for 2 years. So it kind of opened my doorway into China and the worlds beyond. So yeah, and I did that kind of thing all the time. Like I paid all kinds of kung fu masters and shit money to learn shit from them. Um, but yeah, at some point I stopped paying and I thought time to just practice. I think I've gathered enough of the spiritual treasures, time to just refine them. So yeah, astrodynamics with Bruce is a good one. Some of that is based on, or we're suspicious in the esoteric community that it's based on a small pamphlet from a previous writer, Ophiel, and it was called the the art and science of astral projection because it includes the same basic techniques. Um, but they've got to be practiced. Did you continue to endeavor to practice some of his techniques, or maybe some interest in looking at him again now that you're a little older?
I practiced for a while, but I wasn't finding the results. And so I decided to spend my time doing other things. I did that in a number of different directions.
Yeah, it's a smart choice. I think that there was an Olympic ping pong coach, and he said, train what you do best. And if you find something that you're not good at, don't train it because you won't get gold medals for that and you won't make a lot of progress. So I think it's a good philosophy.
Bruce Lee had something along those lines too. Learn from everything, let go that which is not for you, and grow what is. Something like that.
Yeah, he may have been the one that conveyed that story about that coach. Or it was a well-known kind of kung fu adage as well, though. I remember other people conveying the story in the kung fu community. And I was discussing that with Mr. Pi a moment ago because he said that he had fallen into some doldrums, that he had some really powerful astral experiences and lucid dreaming, and he hasn't had anything. He's just been in the complete
Dumps.
zero influence from that realm. Yeah. And
Down
Ricardo
in the
had mentioned
dumps.
something. Yeah, and Ricardo had mentioned something about that as well, like being in the doldrums romantically somehow.
Yeah.
And so we were talking a little bit about how to get through those things. What are your thoughts there?
We're all being tested. Our paths are different, but many of our tests, well, they're different too. We're here to grow in self-love. The moon, we had a full moon, yesterday. Maybe it was a couple days ago, but there's all sorts of things. Huh?
It was recently, yeah. I
Yeah.
heard people talking about it, and I could definitely feel the energy.
Man, it lasts for about 5 days. It's a few
I
days
always
before
want
the
to
full
sleep.
moon and a few days after as well. Yeah.
I usually want to sleep a little bit later, go to bed a bit later, stay up longer, got more energy.
Our bodies are designed, I believe, to be in tune with Mother Earth and the planets and the stars. But this
Yes.
chaotic society, it keeps us detached, man.
That's why I try and detach from the society as much as possible. And I'm seem to be happier and more in tune with myself. But then that can be selfish as well, though. I still haven't found meaningful employment, and I'm up for it. I'm looking for it, but I just can't seem to grasp it. So we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, I stay happy, I stay healthy, I stay in touch with nature as much as possible and in harmony with, everyone and everything.
Well, and Ricardo, you're a bit artistic too. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if either of you gentlemen are at all familiar with the comic book artist Grant Morrison. Have you guys heard of him and his story with
Yes.
chaos magic?
Yes, I've heard of him.
Okay, did you listen to his like hour-long lecture on how he programmed the psychic auric field in order to respond to him through chaos magic? Did you
No,
know about that at all or no? Okay.
no,
Yeah, look
I'm
it
a
up.
bit.
Look up like Chaos Magic and Grant Morrison and listen to his, I think it's like a 40-minute or an hour-long lecture. And he basically gives a definitive rundown on manifesting through what he calls hyper sigils. But there's other ways to go about it too. The one I use more often for myself is what I call magical scripting. And so
Okay.
I write out the stories of life that I want to encounter. And then like it coincides and correlates a lot with like Neville Goddard and Bernadine, I forget her name, the one that
Sure.
did
Law of
your
attraction.
your invisible power. So there are
Yeah.
a lot of speakers in that field. So you might put some interest into it because a very simple talismanic invocation or hypersigil or magical scripting can change everything very quickly. Like you would be surprised. Sit down, write it out in several paragraphs, or draw a picture of what you want to occur, and then just I wouldn't go as far as the beast Crowley says how to enchant it, but I would say just put your intention, time, talent, energy, and everyone's probably familiar with what Crowley says, but we won't go there. Welcome, Dirty Lowlife. Good to see you.
Good to see you,
Great
James.
group of guys we've got here tonight, man.
I've got to interject on your Grant Morrison. Have you come across the idea that his name is a hypersigil in its own right? Grant Morrison as Grant More Eyes On.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's very cute.
More eyes on.
No, I didn't notice that. No.
A spell to garner viewership.
Try that.
Yeah, he's an interesting dude.
Got these cool lights. I can change the colors and shit. It's quite cool. Oh, talking about amazing, like spiritual, creative fucking books and stuff, right? Do you know? Have you heard of a book called Creative Visualization? It's by hang on a sec. I've got it on the next tab here. By Shakti Gawain. It's been around for a while, maybe 20 or 30 years, but when I don't own a copy, unfortunately, but when I found a copy at a friend's house years and years ago, I just thought it was the most amazing book ever. So that's definitely one to check out if you've never heard of it.
Yeah, no, I haven't. What about you, Dirty Lowlife? Are you familiar with this material?
I'll type the author in the chat.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
so-
good, thank you. Because that
Foreign name.
that name sounds extremely beyond my
Indian or
capacity to spell. Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, my camera gentleman doesn't seem to work. I would have paneled up and we could have all had cameras on, but yeah. So sorry about that.
There you go.
Shakti Gawain. Okay, very good. Yeah, thank you for that. I'll look into it.
I'd like to get a copy myself, actually. And also, we could look on Amazon, but also I've been looking for a book for a while by the late great Terence McKenna called is out of print apparently in the UK where I live, so I'm having trouble getting hold of it. But it's called. It was his latest book, I think, or his biggest book. The Archaic Revival, I believe it was called. Yep. You heard
Okay,
of that
good.
one?
No, I haven't. I am familiar with McKenna's work, but
Yeah.
it's not something that came into my immediate area of study throughout my travels.
Okay.
Um,
I was going to
Tony,
say
the life
he
you
lived in
go.
he lived in California for a while. He studied he was a student at UCLA or whatever.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, a lot of those guys were out in Southern California. Like, I
Yeah.
lived right down the street from Scott Cunningham. I think I've told you that story before.
Mm.
We're actually lived on the exact same street. He lived at the top of the hill, and we lived a little further down the hill. But yeah, Scott Cunningham, he was one of, see, now Terrence McKenna is the one that actually started Wicca, right?
Yeah.
Am
Oh,
I
really?
am I
Didn't
correct?
know that.
Yeah, yeah, I think I'm correct in that. But Scott
Possibly.
Cunningham was a young poet that actually made Wicca flourish the most via Llewellyn, the publication company, because he wrote the most books and the most poetry and
Mm.
like magical books for it. So yeah, I got to hang out
Yeah.
with him quite a few times. He threw parties and stuff, and he was a
Oh,
really
that's
nice
awesome.
guy. Yeah.
Nice. All
And he wasn't
right.
that much older than me, only like maybe 15 years older than me. So
Uh-huh.
What do you guys make of McKenna's idea of the transcendental object at the end of time?
I
It
like it.
reminds me a lot of Rudolf Steiner talking about Ahriman, the Lucifer Ahriman polar nature of reality, where they're basically pulling in opposite directions.
Yes. Saying that he posits that we're not being pushed forward into the future, but we're being dragged. We're not being pushed back from the past. We're being dragged from the future, like something like that.
Yeah, that sounds like it to me.
Negative entropy or something. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not super familiar. I am familiar with Steiner's work, but can you describe it a little more? And
Not really, other than that there is some. They both seem to point to the idea that there's some structure at the end of time that is like a crystalline form of things, where at the beginning of time is Lucifer, is the burning, it's the light, it's the fully fluid. So you've got fully fluid and fully crystallized at opposite ends, and that they are drawing the moment out into those ends, if that makes sense. I don't know if
then
they are
are
related in any way. Terence McKenna's idea of the transcendental object at the end of time that draws us into the future
Mm.
it feels very similar to in nature to that to me.
okay, but I'm not super clear because Steiner, like his ideas of Christ, Lucifer, and then Ahriman. Ahriman is like a third entity that pulls us into the eighth sphere, which is essentially what I've perceived through reading his material, is the klipot of the Kabbalah. Would you agree to that? Or are you familiar enough?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm familiar enough with I know it a little bit, but not enough to just say yes, I agree with you.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
But
sure.
it sounds like
Well,
you're more familiar with Steiner's work than I am, to be honest. So go ahead.
just that was my idea. Like, it was presented at first to me. I heard about it on Dark Journalist. Are you guys familiar with Dark Journalist, DJ?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
He's I think he's around 750,000 subs here on YouTube. And I started
Cool.
watching him when he was at like around 10,000. So I've seen him grow over the years. Um,
Cool.
but he brings forward a lot of information from like the UFO file and JFK and the cabal and inside stuff, conspiracy theory,
Yeah.
conspiratorial theory type stuff. But he
It's good
talks a lot
shit.
about Steiner. And so I tangent off and I just downloaded tons of Steiner lectures and listened to them through them and stuff. But there's this idea of an eighth sphere, which is the silicon sphere, which is going to be the so Ahriman essentially will be AGI. And the idea that it's trying to consume humanity at some point, and that at the end of in the future, in the distant future, there will be like giant supercomputer that, in order to ensure its birth and survival, will send back probes in time. And so some of the UFOs that we may be seeing may be that they're silicon-based life forms that are coming back through time in order to ensure the survival of humanity so that they can arrive at the technological singularity so that it can birth itself. So that may fall in line with McKenna's idea. I'm not sure. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I was going to say, you made me think of, I can't remember the name now, but I've been looking at the guy who did the cut up theory of chopping up bits of newspapers and then scattering them and seeing what structures of words came out in the chaos.
Oh yeah, William Burroughs.
Yes, that's him. And
Oh,
his
no.
thoughts of language being a virus, and that language is actually a thing that's infected humanity, and language basically the use of words conjures how we're able to think, and then how we're able to think conjures how we're able to structure the words we're using. So we're in a sort of a cybernetic feedback loop, which is a means of control. So yeah, it smacks to me of that, Frank, of the language being a virus, of being this logic thing that we've got ourselves into, that none of the other animals seem to suffer. Seems to be taking us somewhere that is a predetermined path.
Yeah, well,
That's fascinating.
we got two sides to us, haven't we? We've got the animal kind of side and the spiritual side. We've got brains, and we've also got brawn that we can have. So we're extremely powerful. Human beings are so more powerful than most people even realize is possible. But
it could go either direction too. Like
that power. Yeah,
you could use that language, the word, as we've learned through biblical references, to it could be parasitic or viral or infectious or pathogenic, but at the same time you could also use it to bring about better results somehow. So I wanted to maybe pose the question to Jack to get you involved a little more in the conversation and ask you, have you tried some of those techniques? Maybe like he mentioned William Burroughs, I mentioned like magical scripting, and then we have Grant Morrison's idea of the hypersigil. So, and you're doing, I feel like you're doing some of that with your channel, like the ideas of the backdrops and the reinforced programming through quoting scriptural quotes with imagery. Have you tried that for like maybe smaller gains in the field that you're working in order to bring about some of those results, or might you consider it?
Visual aids and more evidence to reinforce what I'm saying, it certainly would be more helpful. But this concept of language and words, I've really looked at that quite a bit. And what you're saying is so true. That's what I've learned. Some of the different languages, by the way the words come out, it creates a totally different experience. I can't remember the examples that were cited, but it made sense. And it's the language. People are all caught in the heads arguing over words when we're all part of one greater experience. And there's so much power in the words too. This is the thing. The conditioning has taught us to find self-doubt instead of self-worth. It's crazy how backward everything is.
Yeah, I could talk myself into everything all the time rather than talk
Right.
myself out of it, but I don't.
Right? This is what I realized. I was finding excuses to make myself feel bad, to make myself feel alone. And I realized that same tool can help me feel good. It can help me feel connected to anything I want.
Yeah, it's true for sure. Dr. D mentions that Dark Journalist has all the good Dr. Joseph Farrell threads. So if you guys don't know JP Farrell, he's recently
No.
come back onto the scene. He had triple bypass surgery about 4 years ago, and he kind of he dropped off of YouTube for a while. So I think he hadn't posted anything or 3 or 4 years, but last week he started posting again, and he's doing Giza Death Star news and views from the Nefarium once again. So if you do like JP Farrell, then yeah, definitely he's back online. So check him out. Um, and it's interesting too to me how like languages form in different manners. I've looked in somewhat to ancient Chinese pictographs, which were originated by they would dry and crack ox bones, ox hip bones, and turtle shells, and then pour mercury and lead and different elements into them in order to arrive at these schematic patterns. Cymatic? Am I saying it correctly?
Yeah,
Um,
somatics.
yeah, cymatic patterns that they use to formulate the foundation of their pictographs and their language. So some of it was being transmitted directly to them from what they felt was the unseen realm into this realm. And they deeply associated it with Shens or pre-heaven beings that are made entirely of chi, or what we might call like etheric energy, right? And so they're looking for this deeper connection that humanity serves in unifying our higher spiritual energies with our more gross animalistic materialized energies by way of chi. So chi would be at the Christ conscious center. It's the link between heaven and earth, and man is the link between heaven and earth in this plane. And so I think there's something to that. And I think there's something, it's the reason I came to China in order to endeavor to study the language, because I thought that it may have a different frequency, energetic pattern. And I recently discovered this was exciting to me. I was down in southern China in a region called Fuzhou, and the Fujian dialect is supposedly the closest to the ancient Chinese original dialect of their languages, like dating back to the Shang. So we're talking 6,000 years ago. And I realized that the way they talk to each other and in their language, it actually has higher value. It's more friendly, it's more energetic. I understand some of it because I've been around those types of people since the United States. But like the northern language is brutal, guttural, aggressive, and like literally hurts your chi. And so it was really delightful and refreshing to be among the Fu people again. If you guys ever have an opportunity to look into them, they used to build these giant round houses, and everything was focused inward. All the community life was done in the inner courtyard, and the outward part of the house was just like it's just like a giant like pyramid, like a round pyramid with everything focused inward towards like family life and social life and community life. Anyway, I thought Hebrew, I believe that pre ancient Hebrew also derives from Chinese. And if you look at the ancient Hebrew language and you've had some experience with Chinese pictographs, you can see the direct connection. So, what do you guys think about like the difference between a pictorial language and a curvilinear hieroglyphic language like English? Because Egyptian was also ancient Egyptian was based on it like hieroglyphs. So, do you think that somehow separated us from a deeper truth and the fracturing of language in general, right? The Tower of Babylon. Do we give some credit to that story and why and how?
Yeah, you touch on so many things, Frank. I had a couple of thoughts. Let's see if I can remember them.
Yeah, yes. Sorry, it
Uh,
was a bit of bit of a spurg.
no, it's really
Go ahead,
good.
though.
You spoke about, was it the kanji characters being created from cymatic patterns? I think that's what you mentioned.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for vibration and the imagery created from vibration. What with it being a direct representation is far more close to what we're actually communicating in and with as a medium. So, yeah, I think there's a lot to do with the immediacy of that communication that's been lost. And don't get me wrong, I mean, the English alphabet characters are created as pictograms, but they've been through so many iterations and so far removed from that initial or that somatic pattern that is its genus. I think there's a lot to be said there. I was also thinking when Jack was speaking, and you sort of touched on it as well. I remember Alan Watts talking about it was Japanese students coming over to America, learning English and staying there for several years, and then going back to Japan and reporting that they could feel different emotional states when they were in the different languages, and that when they were immersed in Japanese, they could actually feel different emotions than when they were immersed in American English. And yeah, very much, again, the words, the vibrations, the reinforcement that we tell ourselves, and resonating with the emotional being that we are. I don't really know what point is, but yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And somehow, if it was intentionally like divergent from what, like the manner in which we spoke, maybe, or wrote and talked and communicated with each other 100 years ago, as opposed to today, I think it's somehow been dumbed down intentionally to make us more bellicose towards each other. I'll give you an example of that. The other
Mm.
day, my son was playing a video game, and he just spurted out of nowhere, "What the actual fuck?" Because he was in a bad situation. And yeah, greetings to Richie. I'll just finish this thought and then welcome you to the stage. Uh, and I had never heard him say that because he's always spoken in a very gentle manner, and he mostly speaks Chinese. And when he just like blurted out all of a sudden, "What the actual fuck?" It felt so violent and disruptive. And in one way, I was kind of proud. I was like, "God damn, Dre, that was powerful." But then on the other side, I thought, foul. But it was also so extremely discordant and so out of character for him. So I think that may some way speak to what you said a moment ago, Dirty Low Life. And at the same time, welcome, Richie. Good to see you, man. How are you?
How you doing, buddy? You all right?
Can't hear you.
How's everyone?
Hey, Richie. Good, mate.
Can't hear me. Ricardo, good to see you. Dirty Low Life. Jack. Frank. Good to see you, boys. What's the topic?
We were just discussing languages and some of the distinctions and the way the energy and vibrations of words have these powers. And if I can, some of the thoughts I was thinking regarding how language can form our view and our perspective. Here in, sorry, there may be noise. Here with English, right? The subject, verb, whatever, it teaches children that things are things, right? And that there's a separation between all the things, and then it teaches children there's a separation between the time, which there is, but it's also all one experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's good, Jack. Like in OG Chinese, there's no gender distinction, there's no time distinction, and originally there was no subject. There were only predicates, there were only verbs acting upon objects. So
Wow.
very interesting. They've later programmed those things in order to adapt to the Western world because they felt that even changing the structure of their language would make them more competitive. And they felt a part of that there was a lot of decisions around. I've studied this to some extent. A lot of decisions made around that in the transformation of Chinese from a more ancient language to a more modern one in order to adapt to the Western world. So yeah, that's fascinating.
And you've witnessed the difference between the old language and the new one as well. That's interesting too.
This is something that I've talked about a few times, because I say that English was deliberately, it's an engineered language. It's still a living language, and it's been engineered specifically for now, because one of the reasons, one of the things that sort of confirmed it for me is that in Blackadder the third, with
Guys,
Prince,
is Richie having
Prince
bad audio?
George and his dad.
Yeah, a bit broken for me.
Say again?
Richie, you seem to have some really bad audio problems. Maybe if you jump out and come back in, that would help.
Back
Yeah, roboting a bit, dude.
okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be back. That seems to happen. I was on Restream earlier, and nobody could seem to connect with any clarity. So I think the platforms, to some extent, it depends on the software you're running on your device. It may or may not always do well. Yeah. So to bring it back to the point you had mentioned, I think at least for the Chinese language, I do know that those things were intentionally implemented and instrumented in, and they made certain changes in order to be a bit more combative because they felt that they had been taken advantage of, and that to live within their ancient ways, that they would continue to suffer subjugation by the Western world, and that they had to adapt. In fact, they changed the direction in which they wrote. Originally, they wrote from top to bottom, right to left. And so they changed it all to be left to right, like horizontally, like we do. And that was a huge change.
Frank, was just wondering, what do you think about hieroglyphics, like from the ancient Egyptian?
I think that, again, I didn't know much about them. I didn't even get like reinterested in studying that type of thing, like cuneiform and then hieroglyphs, both very
Uniform.
interesting to me. Yeah. But China, the reason I was originally attracted to Chinese is because of its pictorial nature, that you've
Yeah.
got like basically little doodles that represent sound, but the doodle already has all the information, so it doesn't really matter what sound you apply to it, and that it's going to be universal because it's universal within China, that everybody would be able to understand your little doodles if you could draw shit out. And I thought somehow it was a more powerful idea than letters. But actually, letters are superior. Letters and numbers are superior for computer encoding and computer language. And even under Chinese, when Chinese appears on a computer, it's still its foundation is letters. It's alphanumeric based on our Western system. So I don't know. It maybe we've been taught to use a robot language somehow, whereas these older forms of language are closer to our natural truth.
Yeah.
Goes to what Richie was saying about English being an invented or engineered language. I've been saying the same for a while. I do hope he comes back and elucidates.
Yeah, come back,
What are you-
Richie. All is
Yeah,
forgiven.
what are your ideas there, DLL?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think you get a better compression in terms of computer. You get a better compression ratio out of alphanumerics because you're constructing. You've basically got a more granular system. I know in kanji you have compounds, don't you, where the character can have more added to have a further meaning, but you're still effectively drawing more picture for each new meaning. Whereas once you've got an alphabetized system, you just rearrange the existing pictures to get new meanings or get new words for meanings. Welcome back, Richie.
Hey, is it better now?
He's back.
Yes, much
Yeah,
better.
it sounds good now.
Yeah, just needed to
Yeah, bro.
clear my cache and restart my laptop. Right, have you moved on, or is it still relevant?
No, shoot,
I was
mate,
gonna
shoot.
say. So
Yeah. We were talking about what you had mentioned.
yeah, I felt for a long time because where I feel like they've been trying to, they're constantly retelling the same stories and the same narratives, trying to embed it firmly into our subconscious. This is how the world was. This is what it was like. This was the Tudors, and this was like with Blackadder. English did it really well through comedy. We use the English sense of humor has been used to make unacceptable people, not just acceptable but well loved. Like they've reinforced the narrative in every single Blackadder. They've reinforced the narratives that the leaders are not actually the leaders. It's their subordinates that are outsmarting them because the leaders are dumb as fuck, and the people below them are taking advantage of that to further their own agendas. They've reinforced all the narratives, and one of the things in I'm pretty sure it's Blackadder Third. I mean, for one thing, they open up with the English. It's like the early Parliament, when they voted in Pitt the Younger. And I looked it up, and it's all true about Pitt the Younger. He was basically in his 20s. He was the youngest prime minister ever. In Blackadder, they portray him as an actual child. But they show us there that the voting has never meant anything, because the only people that got to vote were the landowners. The landowners were only landowners if they were nobility or they were in the club. So it was family members of the royals that they were getting to vote anyway. So the power was never given to the people. But later on in that season, one of the later episodes, they have, what's his name, the guy that actually created the English dictionary, the first English dictionary. And
It's a hilarious episode.
yeah, he said, so you've got every single word, like sausage, sausage, sausage. But the point is, I think they've carefully constructed the language to make it so much easier to lie and deceive through phonetics, using the phonetics of language to actually, where you're saying one thing, but that's not what essentially the universe is hearing. Right? You say no, and the universe hears KNOW, no, or as in gnosis. Like, so, no more war, no more war. Is the universe really hearing, we want to know more war? Like KNOW, more war. We've been absolutely, the level of control has been made so much greater just through the language, and our perception of words and our perception of meanings of words. We've been led to believe this, but in actual fact, it's something completely different. We're reinforcing, reaffirming, reinstating our own enslavement just through the way we speak.
Until we change it, the patterns repeat until we break them.
Yeah, I'd like to hear some reflections on that from the other gentleman here. Like, what are your thoughts?
What
No,
this
I totally agree with them. Yeah, I can't disagree with anything Richie just said. So
no, it's
it
it's
goes
something.
deep.
So he does. It's something I think I'm going to contemplate a little bit more as well. One of the observations I found wasn't so specific to the English language as it was the education patterns, teaching children to memorize rather than think, right? And obey rather than lead themselves in learning, lead themselves in life.
You've all come across Chase Hughes, right? That ex-CIA guy, that one of his first videos he was talking about what a psyop is. And he basically explained to everybody how we've all been under psyops for the last God knows how long. He said he postulated that and suggested that language is a virus. And I've seen somebody else has said that as well, has mentioned it, because he was saying something about how, and you mentioned it, Jack, about how names for like everything becomes a thing. You give it a name and it becomes a thing. And but when you're a baby and you see a rock, you don't think rock, right? You know what it is, and you can see it and you can feel it, but you don't know it's called a rock. And in a different country, it's not called a rock. It's got a different name. It might mean rock, but it's called something else. There's a different name for it. So there's something in this where we look at things and we immediately give it a name. We've already assigned these labels to everything, and that's another tool that they've used. Our need to identify and label things. You stick a label on it, and then when in future when you use that label as a point of reference, it's encompassing. It's not accurate. It's not like vax denier, right?
Yeah,
So
like
somebody's a vax denier.
Steiner, Rudolf Steiner. Yeah, I don't want to go in that direction, Richie. Thank you, though.
Oh yeah,
Um,
sorry, yeah.
yeah, no worries. Rudolf Steiner addressed this to some extent in the idea of the way, and this brings it back to the idea of Jack's mention of education, that children should be held in abeyance for a little bit longer and allowed to, like you said, Richie, just see the rock as a rock, and rather than being told it is a rock. And then, so an educational process that was much slower and graduated towards the development of the being rather than like what we think they should be doing. And I think the educational system, obviously we've seen that what was instrumented by the Rothschilds and the other elite families to create good citizens and good factory workers and good slaves, essentially, right? And so your reflection on that, gentlemen.
So I heard recently in the last few weeks, I heard that there was actually there were schools much further back, much further back in history, like a couple of thousand years back in history, there were schools, but those schools were to train people to be good soldiers. There was schooling, but it was military.
It's all about obedience and that, bowing to the hierarchy, knowing your place in the hierarchy and stuff.
The entire Spartan Empire was all about that, right? And as well as the Persian Empire.
You can break free. You're right. And maybe the way to break free is through language itself. So creating new words, avoiding using words that may be misconstrued as something negative, like Richie just said, no, and no.
Yeah, I was going to say it's difficult because sorry, Ricardo, you go
we
ahead.
can do you know what I mean? We can do. I think we can definitely
That's
do
just about
something
being
there
mindful, isn't it? That's about being mindful when we speak.
Mindful of every word and every nuance and stuff. Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say it's difficult because, like you said, the language has been constructed so carefully to allow for the phonetic overlap of meaning. I think originally so that only a few people would write and read, and most people would speak. So the phonetics has a much bigger impact on the lower classes that haven't been taught to read and write. They only have access to the phonetics, and the person who can read the spelling gets to know the accurate meaning. couple of other thoughts. I put the Oxford University is claimed to be about 930 years old. The English language is somewhere between 250 to 500 years old. So it's very recent
Well,
in comparison to the institutions.
in its current form, definitely like the 17th or the 1700s, the 18th century was when that was the last sort of shift when we had the vowel change. All the
Oh
vowels
yes,
changed, didn't
yeah.
they? That's something that Black Sheep researcher Paul
Yes, I've watched that
has
myself.
mentioned. I was incredibly interested when he said about that because it really did seem to mean something, especially when he took that quote from a pope back in, I don't know, 600 AD or something, talking about how AEIOU was a device.
Yeah, excellent video. I was going to say that to finish my thought. Sorry, that it's tricky, Ricardo, because it's been so cleverly constructed. If you heard the example, I wake in the morning to earn my keep. Go to work. I wake. Awake is after a funeral. A mourning is what you're doing at a wake, and an urn is where you keep the ashes, and the keep is where you put the urn. I work through the weekdays until I'm in a weekdays, and I'm left weakened by the weekend.
Weakened by the weekend.
Yeah,
Yes.
so all of these words that we say autonomously in the automatism of speech to each other, there's an idea in self-defense classes when they teach self-defense classes, particularly to women who are learning self-defense against men. They go through the exercises, but the body can't tell the difference between an exercise, a simulation, and a real event. Your body
Right.
reacts in the same way, so they have to go through this process of giving each other hugs and patting each other on the back and reminding each other that they're actually your friends, and that to wind the body down because it doesn't know the difference. And I think the same thing is true for the language, especially with phonetics. Your mind interprets all of the parallel possibilities of the phonetic interpretation all at once, and then the thinking mind goes, "Oh, I know what they mean," and picks one of them. But I think your body catches all of those interpretations before your mind gets there. I think they all imprint you. So I think you're right. We have to be careful how we speak and the words we choose. But it's that the traps have been so cleverly laid that I come across phonetic overlaps all the time. Every day I think, oh, that's actually the same as that, isn't it? And that's weird that I've been saying that to myself for so long and not having known it.
The good morning one is a good example. I've become very mindful of not saying good morning anymore. I say good day to people because morning. It's good morning. Wow.
Hello is a prime example.
Yeah, and hello as well.
Yeah,
it's
so
interesting. I naturally inclined to do that even before learning about some of this, to say good day rather than good morning, and some of the others, hi, for example, rather than hello. And go ahead, Ricardo, you had something to mention?
yeah, something occurred to me. So the people that I've noticed that are really aware of all these things and avoiding using certain words and using different words, maybe improved words or improved meanings for words, are the Rastafarians or the Jamaicans. So the patois, is it?
I was patois, yeah. I was actually
So-
going to mention that as well, Ricardo,
Yeah.
because one of the most powerful prefixes to any statement is I am, right?
I am.
I am this. But if you speak to a Jamaican, they say me am working now, man. Me am got no worries. Me got no worries, man. Right? They don't say I am. They say me am. And when I was younger, I thought that's really stupid. You sound really stupid saying that. Now it makes absolute sense to me because you're not making a powerful statement of I am. It's different. You're saying me.
And also,
And there's me, myself, and I, right?
right. True.
what you know, your soul, your ego, and your higher self, or whatever, or however you want
Mm.
to. That's how I think about it. And so me is the ego.
Yeah.
What or I am? No, I am is the ego. When you say I am, it's generally your ego that's saying it. But yeah,
And also they say I and I sometimes, which is like saying, which is kind of always insinuating there's
right.
more than one self, which is it
And
always makes me think of that.
and the people that refer to themselves in the first person, or
Yeah,
they say we. We find this very amusing. Like,
yeah,
I think
we are going up the club with this
it's
spliff.
it's someone Dominic or someone has used that we instead of I.
Well, and the big question that this poses for me is that within other language categories, this may or may not be true. And so within the Western world, we may be having this experience, but then from like the perspective, as I had introduced a moment ago, the Chinese pictographical language that didn't include many of these elements, and some of the older tribes don't even speak in that way. I find that their natural inclination towards, I don't know, greater felicity and joyity and gaiety in life seems to supersede like where we've been brought. And then at the same time, I've noticed that when they are introduced into the Western world, like you spoke a moment ago about the Japanese students, um, they start to encounter the first world problems and then articulate them in those manner and then carry home those things as well. But there's been a big drive to make English the international language and a worldwide monoculture. And so if we can see this now at such a very nuanced level, it's like how do we in some way start to integrate these other peoples? I would say it's to become multilingual, right? To learn some of the other languages is one step. But at the
Claro.
same time, Ricardo had mentioned possibly reforming some of the words as well. But then I think at the same time too, it's the manner in which we speak to each other that carries intent as well.
Hey, that energy, this is what I was thinking. I don't remember who said what, but someone said the possibility of language being like a virus. And it's love. Love is word, it needs no words, right? And the words we get lost in. Um, sorry, language is fascinating.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Love takes it to a telepathic level, right? Like when we generally generate that Christ consciousness, if that's what we'd like to call it, then our auric field does push out in touch to the others. And I think there's something there, Jack.
I think that's where we're heading. That's the crystalline future that we're being drawn to is higher form of consciousness resulting in a higher energy, higher quality to the energy of us. And we do live at a time now where we really we can get past these language barriers, start speaking to each other with more compassion and care, right?
I think part of that as well is like um, we're all to different degrees empaths, right? Everybody, even people that don't think that they would never say that they're an empath. They might not even realize that they are picking up other people's feelings. They just don't recognize it. They think that they're their own feelings. So there's a certain level of discernment, from and understanding through empathy, and when it's like that's why the like the wheat and the tares, the wheat is going to be able to recognize, the good souls will recognize each other. The good souls will see through, especially the ones that have been doing the work, right? The inner work. That we recognize each other, because you just know when you speak to somebody who has good intentions, and they are, they're honest and honorable, they have integrity. You can tell, you can feel it, and that overrides, I think, the confusion caused by language. That's why when I live in a foreign country, yo aprendo a hablar español para 6 años, pero no hablo muy bien. I can't have a conversation with anybody in Spanish, but through sign language, gestures, tone of voice, and very basic pidgin Spanish and pidgin English, with a mixture of it, you can totally understand each other. I've had full-on conversations with somebody in Spanish, not being able to actually speak Spanish, but we've completely understood each other.
Yeah, I know.
And
I know how you feel. I know how you feel about that, Richie. The struggle's real. Like, it took me 12 years in university and another 15 on the
Chinese.
street.
Fucking
Yeah,
hell,
another
Chinese, mate. It's not like
another
Spanish, is
15
it?
on the street. Yeah. But
Like,
now I like it wasn't until about my 10th year in China that I was able to start participating in conversations to the level where I could just ask basic questions. And now that I've
it,
been here pushing 30, I can actually have conversations now, and it's kind of a thing. But yeah, imagine the amount of effort that took. 30 fucking years
well, with
of
Chinese, it's like,
striving.
When you say Chinese, do you mean Mandarin?
Yeah, Mandarin. I speak some Cantonese as well, and Fujian as well.
So
So
I
three
think both
dialects.
I think both of those dialects, you'll have a word, but there are 5 or 6 different ways to pronounce the same word, and if you pronounce it wrong, the meaning will be lost completely.
Yeah, it'll be totally lost. That's right. Yeah, so it's a
So it's a
struggle.
lot in pronunciation, and what is that? That's phonetics.
Yeah, intonation is what we call it. Yeah.
Intonation, pronunciation, right? But that's basically it's the sounds that are coming out of your mouth, the way that you're shaping your mouth and your tongue and everything to create these sounds. Like that Mandarin in Mandarin or Cantonese, they sure that weird. It's you hear it a lot when they're speaking. You hear that sure kind of sound, but there's different words that they use. I wish I could speak Chinese, man. I wish I could speak Mandarin. Such a cool language. You should give us some now. You should give us a
I
demonstration, dude.
I think there's an overarching intentional thing too, though, that we had been discussing a moment ago, that, like you were saying, in communicating with the Spaniards, maybe the idea of that your willingness and desire to communicate supersedes some of the language barriers. I think that can be super important as well. And then what the distinction I was drawing out a moment ago with the northern styles of Mandarin being more guttural and more brutal, even as opposed to the southern style of language. Um, yeah, just so real quick, 一刀七刀，血型，就听宁愿雷上不发，田村 give you something beautiful. 蝙蝠满天飞，我在地上追，问君何处去？任我寻门入。Just for fun. But
So cool.
yeah, Jack, you might be getting nearing the end of your day, so yeah, you're doing a little stretching. I don't want to keep you too long. I appreciate you stopping by, man. It's a bit of a thing. Thank you for that. Did you have some final words here for the people? And if I'm
Um,
gathering your energy correctly, I think you maybe.
you read me right. Yeah, I'm leaning towards stepping out. I'll probably listen for a bit more, but something came up with regarding empathy and understanding, communicating. It's through that skill of connecting. And I think empathy is the right term. If we can apply that to ourselves, have a little empathy and compassion with ourselves, that's what helps our nervous system relax, and it helps the right words come up into our minds. At least that's what it seems to me, that's what it is. Empathy. The world is getting better.
Yeah.
Men healing and men talking. Thank you. I'm going to bounce out and listen. God bless you guys.
Yeah. Blessings. Thank you, Jack. Thank you for stopping
Jack.
by. Good
Have
to
a
see
good
you
one, Jack.
always. Yeah, gentlemen. So I think we've uncovered some things here. Dirty Lowlife, your reaction, if you're still there, sir.
Yeah, I was just thinking about Richie talking about a rock being a rock and what language it's in, and thinking about how to get back to that childlike state of not calling everything a name immediately. And the only way I've found, in my experience, is through practicing meditation regularly and getting into a place where the talking mind that's so addicted to labeling everything and narrating everything can go quiet for a short while, and to remember what it's like to experience, to experience without the narration, and suddenly you're in a different world, really.
It's something that I do every single day, except Tuesdays, because Tuesday is my day off from work. But every day before work, I spend at least an hour sat on the beach with my shoes off, shoes and socks off, feet in the sand, and just listen to the ocean, look at the rocks on the beach, watch people, but
Being still.
clear my mind, just completely clear my mind, and I'm grounding, like while I'm doing it, I'm consciously connecting with the energy from the earth. And yeah, it's this year has been the most chilled out year for me ever, because nothing's bothering me at all. I just feel completely at ease, nicely balanced, emotionally balanced, and grounding every day, or at least 6 days a week, definitely has had a massive part to play in that.
Yeah, awesome.
Grounding and
Good to hear.
meditating. Listen, lads, I've just got back from work, and I thought I'd hop on because I saw you were live, Frank, and I always, if I can, I love popping on. But I am going to go to bed now. I'm knackered.
Okay. I
5
appreciate you
to
being here,
midnight.
Richie. And yeah, I appreciate your contribution. Thank you for that. You brought some insights that we wouldn't have otherwise contemplated and that are a part of your greater work. Yeah. So thank you for that, sir, man. Have a great night and
You
blessings to you.
too. Nice to see you, Dirty Low Life, and shout out to the
Yeah,
chat
likewise,
room,
brother.
and Jack and Ricardo as well. Thank you very much, gents. Peace.
Take care, Richie.
Yeah, it seems like we've reached the 2 hour mark. Dirty Low Life. If you've got some salient thoughts you want to bring forward, or I'm still here for it. Otherwise, we can move on into the abodes of the future.
Yeah, I don't think I've got much more to add, Frank, other than my blessings and love to you, brother. It's been good to natter, as always.
Yeah, thank you for that. I had started from a place where maybe I need a little more healing too, and it was good that Jack showed up, because I do really think that me and Jack, we could have a greater relationship of fraternal connection, and you as well. Like I've been excited to talk to you about certain things, and I hope that we can meet again in the near future, because there are
Yes,
some things
likewise.
on my yeah, there are some things on my docket, as it were, some homework maybe you had given me, or some things I was just contemplating on my own that I think I'd like to discuss with you. So I'm looking forward to seeing you again in the near
Yeah,
future.
absolutely, brother. I'm hoping to have some more free time coming up for catching you on stream. Yeah, can't wait, dude. I'll leave you to it.
Okay,
Take care.
good magic. Thank you for that, Dirty Low Life.
Take care,
Thank
brother.
you, all the gentlemen that joined me here tonight, man. Really, a good and wonderful thing. Oops, sorry. Yeah, there you are. Okay. Good to see you again, Jack. And I water under the bridge for any of the negativity that I carried over. At least I don't. You probably didn't even carry any over, man. But there was a bit of a discombobulation in that situation, and I felt some real healing and connection with the fellows that stopped by tonight. Dr. D was in the chatter box, offering up some really good salient points and ideas and reinforcement and research as well to what we were looking into. We mentioned quite a few books that folks should endeavor to look into and research. Shakti Gawain, Creative Visualization. I believe that was Dirty Lowlife that had mentioned that one. And then Robert Bruce's Astral Dynamics is one that I had brought forward. And what a fascinating synchronicity that Jack has had that experience from his life path and development, that he was able to do that and meet with that fella and bring forward that experience to share with us. So yeah, thank you for that, man. It's kind of a big deal, um when someone you're interested in have studied for a while, and then someone else that you have a connection with has actually met that person or worked with them directly. I mean, it says, Jeep says, stop love bombing. Jack has the capacity to express his inner bitch. Yeah, the true facts, right? We all do, from time to time. But I think the main idea is that our growth moving forward brings us to greater unity and reinforcement. I would hope. And so I think it's a big deal. Jack coming over to be on the channel and everyone showing up. Richie and Ricardo Sunshine and Dirty Low Life coming by to say hi, and all of you guys coming by to watch and tune in. Um, that gives me what do the young guys call it these days? Gassing somebody up, right? It puts a little more pep in my step, lead in my pencil, and jelly in my donut to know that that's able to happen finally after working pretty hard to make a connection with this space, and to see some of you responding. Yeah, I'm appreciative for all of you stopping by, and I think that real growth happens. And I think that some interesting ideas were presented, and some of really high intrinsic value. Yeah, so thank you for that. Frater DLL is what I like to call you, Frater Dr. D, Mr. Jack Talcott. Blessings to all of you. Yeah, and so thank you for that, man. Thank you for reaching out and coming by, everyone. And have a great evening. I think it's a hell of a show, man. 2 hours is a kind of a big deal, right? I mean, yeah, the guests always make the show, in my opinion. Like, no matter where we go, there we are, right? And whatever you believe to be true is true, at least for you. And yeah, so we covered some real ground. 007, yeah, good to see you, man. Wow, long time no see. Um, so blessings to all of you, gentlemen. And as we wander into the abodes of the future, keep doing good magic. I will finish in prayer. Holy art thou, Lord of the universe, the vast and the mighty one, creator of heaven and earth, maker of all things visible and invisible, master of both the light and the darkness, he who was, is, and always shall be. We adore thee and we invoke thee. Send us one of your divine spiritual agents to protect and guide us through the innumerable snares of the earthly sphere, and a cleansing wind to disperse all negativity and endless human opinion. Teach us those secret things which we must know for the completion of the great work and the glory of thine ineffable name, Adonai. So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. Amen. Hail unto thee who art raw in thy rising, even unto thee who art raw in thy strength, who travellest over the heavens at the uprising of the sun. Tahuti, god of magic, standeth in his splendor at the prow, and Rahor abideth at the helm. Hail unto thee from the abodes of the night. So be it, and so mote it be. Yeah, good magic, man. I will see you guys on the next transmission. And everyone, make sure you guys tune in for Chats with Jack. He's got a really great daily show. Richie as well does quite a few live streams. If not nightly, then near nightly. So stop by and see all the gentlemen. I'm not sure about Dirty Low Life, and I know Ricardo says that he's back in action. So it's good to see you again, Ricardo. And to everyone that stopped by, blessings and much love. Until next time, bye for now.